Alright, so I found a few clips retaining to the Ukraine Russia conflict that I thought were interesting. So here's the first up. Here, take a listen.
Russian forces, I think, frankly, were too gentle. They've now corrected that. So I would say another 10 days, this should be completely over. But the question is, what is it that Zelensky is going to do? The Russians have made it very clear what they want is a neutral Ukraine. This could have ended days ago if he accepted that. And then they can adjust the borders. But the eastern part of Ukraine is firmly in Russian hands. But again, the Russians are not seizing territory. They're destroying Ukrainian forces. That's their focus.
Colonel, it sounds like you don't approve of Zelensky's stand.
Oh, I think Zelensky is a puppet. And he is putting huge numbers of his own population at unnecessary risk. And quite frankly, most of what comes out of Ukraine is debunked as lies within 24 to 48 hours. The notions of taking and retaking airfields, all of this is nonsense. It hasn't happened.
He's not a hero? I mean, he's standing up for himself and his own people? You don't think he's a hero?
No, I do not. I don't see anything heroic about the man. And I think the most heroic thing that he can do right now is to come to terms with reality. Neutralize Ukraine. This is not a bad thing. A neutral Ukraine would be good for us as well as for Russia. It would create the buffer that, frankly, both sides want. But he's, I think, being told to hang on. And
so this video encapsulates my whole stance on the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. The Russians, they just want a neutral Ukraine, not one that's part of NATO or the EU. They just want to have a buffer zone. And then this whole Zelensky thing about him being a puppet, that reminded me of a video clip I saw a few years ago. Here, take a listen to that one too.
And so I got Ukraine, and I remember going over convincing our team, or others, to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. Said, "No," I said, "I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion." They said, "You have no authority. You're not the president." The president said. I said, "Call him." I said, "I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion." I said, "You're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here." And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, "I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money." Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, there's still, so they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people. But in one of the three institutions, there's now some backsliding.
The courts are
there, and yes, and they had made that commitment that they wouldn't do that. And so when we left, the first thing I spent a lot of time, as did Mike, because this was his territory as well, and people like Charlie Kupchan and Victoria. And anyway, there are a lot of good people.
All right, so first off, when he said that he was going to withhold $1 billion if a state prosecutor wasn't fired, isn't that blackmail or extortion? You know, if you don't get rid of this person, you're not getting the money. Isn't that a crime? So, yeah, the Ukrainian government was worried they wouldn't get their money, so they fired the prosecutor. So, America is controlling Ukraine, or at least the politicians are. And then, why did he want the prosecutor to be fired? And this leads me into some things I read online. So here's a quick little article. So apparently the state prosecutor was investigating Burisa Holdings. It's an oil or gas company in Ukraine. Apparently this Hunter Biden's on the board of directors or whatever. That sounds like conflict of interest to me. Because what better way to get political favor than to have the VP's son on your board of directors? but anyway. The other thing that irks me is when Biden said, son of a bitch, the guy was fired. They all started laughing. They're laughing at basically the VP blackmailing, extorting a whole friggin' country by threatening to withhold money. Wow, those are some very fine politicians. But then again, that's politics 101, I guess. That's one of the reasons I distrust politicians with every fiber of my being. What else? Now I'm gonna circle back, as she says, to the first video clip where the guy was talking about the media, how they report an airfield being retaken, etc. Yeah, just like with politicians, I don't trust the media anyway, either, I should say, for the same reason I don't trust politicians. They're working their own angle. The media, just like every other corporation, they're just that. They're corporations. Whatever sells. And now you have all these people, they're all going out standing with Ukraine and tuning into the media, which boosts their ratings. Now here's a hypothetical what if. What if Trump runs for president again? If I remember correct, in 2016, they blamed who? Putin for rigging the election. So if Trump runs again, they're going to say, oh, you voting for Trump? You're voting for a Putin puppet? You're going to have blood on your hands. Alright, so that's my quick little rambling. Oh, and here I found a funny little video. I'll just pop it in, and also a clip.
Where, Putin decides he's going to just invade Russia. Nothing like this has happened since World War II.
So, yeah, people were saying if Trump gets re-elected, Putin would invade Ukraine. Yeah, more like Putin was waiting for Biden to get elected, because that video clip is reason enough for Putin to invade Ukraine. Alright, I'm done. Take care.